How you doing, folks? My name is Kim Johnson, and again, I'm making this video from Atlantic City, New Jersey. It just started snowing outside. I got some very important things I need to say this morning. It's about 10:30 in the morning. I was thinking about a couple of things. Some people had talked to me about a few things that they was going through again. I don't know why they do it, you know. Let's get straight to the point. What is the meaning of grandma's house is red and grandma's house is blue? Idiots. Let me show you something. Idiots putting their right foot out to you. Idiots putting their left foot out to you. What does that mean when I take this hand and put it on this side? What does it mean when I put this hand on this side? What if it means if I don't put it nowhere? Well, you need to learn the meaning of that. Let me break it down for you, man. Let me break it down for you. If you plant a computer chip in somebody's mind to try to change them in their character into something else, if you're thinking about doing that, government or anybody, then you better make sure who you do it to. You better do some homeland security on that person before you do it, because you can make a very devastating mistake for you and your lodge. And let me break it down to you this morning, okay? So you go and you plant a chip in a person to change the memory and the mindset of the person, okay? Now, it just so happened, right, that the person that they went to and did this to was what you call a godly person. That means you really have to be that. You really have to have a change of life, a change of character, as they say in the church world, a transformation, an inner experience with, within a relationship with God. They went to a person like that and did it too. Let's talk about it. So the person comes from another city, right, one day. This is a true story. I know y'all, see, when I was younger, right, my kids, right, my youngest daughter used to like me telling her little stories, right, because she was younger and she used to like it, right. So I used to tell her little stories and different things. She used to always say, is this true? Her and her little friends, right, she used to invite her little friends over the house, and I used to tell them stories. Not really haunted stories, but they just wanted just to hear stories, right, just to be amazed. They were just younger, okay. I used to tell her stories like that. Let me break this down to you right here. If you mess with the wrong person with that, trying to change the character of the person, trying to make the eyes lock, because you can look at them and their eyes get locked like that, because maybe you might think you a Bluetooth cell phone. You better make sure that you don't mess with the wrong person with grandma's house is red and grandma's house is blue. Now let me tell you where they made a mistake at. Mr. Degree, I'm going to tell you the truth about this one, okay? If you go to a person like that and you change the person, what are you trying to do to the person? You're trying to make the person into, because you are a builder who did it, into a hotel or a house. That's the strategies of the Masons, some Masons, and the builders. This is what the fools did. When they want to change the person into a hotel, meaning you got little rooms inside your head, or a little steps in your head, and it look like people is coming up the steps in your head and going to this room and that room. You trying to create some type of disturbance in the person. You're trying to make the person bipolar, let's talk about it, and schizophrenia. A double personality person, in which you can use a computer to actually try to make it seem like that you in the person's life like that. Okay, you're trying to make a hotel. Okay, now keep in mind grandma's blue house and grandma's red house, because I'm gonna break it down to this person these people who say that they know degrees. You don't know shit. And I'm gonna, excuse my language about that, I'm gonna tell you. So you're trying to make this person into a hotel. Your church world goes to the person and tells them, I know what you're going through, and you heard me talk about this in my videos, and I'm going to help you out of it. They know what's going on in your life, but they are using the Holy Bible to try to frame you with jackleg preachers who might, and you might be going through something like that, and you might have a good job, right? They're trying to get your money out your pocket. You might have a pretty wife or a good-looking husband. They're trying to get your mate in the bed with them. Okay? Now keep in mind, if they're trying to do this, then 9 out of 10 times they might have the AIDS virus that they're trying to spread back to your family. This is what these fools are. These are fools. Okay? So you don't make a person into a hotel. Okay? But the person you did it to has a grandma. Grandma's house is red to him. Let's talk about the red house, man. Grandma's house that you went to was the red house. Okay? You went to the red house. I'm going to break the meaning down for you. Now, let me ask you a question. What password do you need in grandma's house is red? Well, you don't know. In other words, you went to the wrong grandma's house. Grandma's house is red. Now, keep in mind, you have a red house too. Your grandma's house is red. What do you think the devil is in that? Well, I'm going to tell you what. Since you tried to make the person into a hotel or a house or a mansion or a castle, the devil is in real estate development, ain't he? That's what the devil is. He's in real estate development. That means you have real estate developers in it. Like Donald Trump is a real estate developer. How do you think he became the president? He became the president by playing grandma's house is red and grandma's house is blue. Because if the devil is in real estate, then he set up what? He set up a fake real estate school, didn't he? In which they suing him, right? Now dig this right here. The person you tried to make into a hotel went to Donald Trump's real estate school, didn't he, man? Huh? Look. The nappy-headed man is telling you that. I need a haircut now. I'm going to get one later. All right? Dig this right here. That means that Donald Trump is a real estate developer. If you look in New Jersey, you'll see all these properties closed down. That's right there in front of you. It's manifested right here in front of you. It's the truth if you really want to look at it, Mr. Degree Man. Okay? Grandma's house is red. They went to the wrong grandma's house. The grandma's house they went to was a church lady who has nothing to do with that. She's just a red woman. That means that's a house that her spirit lives in, and she's a red woman. That goes over there and makes some people, try to make people into hotel buildings. They call them motels, hotels. You can think downstairs in your head and go and get a whore. Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you, man? And met the devil, boy. That's who you met in grandma's real estate development. The devil is black. I don't know nothing about, that's all I know. I know he's black, Mr. and Mrs. South Carolina, who like to play with pennies and all that and say that sometimes if you're in something like that, sometimes you got to go to the devil. Well, it's obvious that they never seen him before. This is another lie of the jackleg preacher of telling him that you seen some entity like that you don't even understand, man. Because once you see this black, you ain't gonna mess with the black. That's why on the Empire, when I saw a little scene of it one day, Lucius Lyon said, fade to black. He sung a song, fade to black, boom, 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 fade to black. Well, he ain't lying about that. Because ain't nobody really messing with that, man. You got to be crazy, because that is really truly the colors of that. It really is dark. Dark, boy. Dark and wicked. And then you playing on the yellow brick road with Glenda, the Tin Man, and Dorothy, and a dog called Toto. I'm saying to myself, as I see this, right, are you really truly doing this? This is not even true, is it? It's true. How you gonna get to Emerald City? Nigga, you ain't getting to no Emerald City like that. How you gonna play with God? And you expect to get to Emerald City because Dorothy is lost in some type of world, and she's singing some song somewhere over the rainbow where bluebirds fly. Well, let me break it down to you, Mrs. Right. You got caught in the rainbow on the right. I just made a video about how the gay community is being targeted. I just made that video. What type of rainbow did you get caught in on going right? Playing with the person who's a temple. You got caught in the rainbow. That's exactly what you got caught in. Now you may sit here and you may deny that happened to you in this nation called America, but it did. So after you make the person into a hotel, then you have a recession, don't you? That's how you had the recession in 2008 in real estate, in which you was giving people who couldn't even afford a mansion. You was giving them, Bank of America was giving bank loans. Well, that's why it happened. Bank loans to people who couldn't even afford the rent. Some miracle was going to happen and they was going to receive the money in order to pay the mortgage. Until the bank said we need the money. Now you got a real estate crash, right? So I'm looking in the economy again of the 10 man, and I'm saying it looked like it might be another real estate crash. That's when the value of homes went down. That's spiritual, because you play spiritually anyway with the church. The community church, your local black church participated in it. Okay, by trying to make the person into a hotel, because the individual I'm talking about was going to real estate development, buying and selling houses. This is a true story, man. I should have probably told my kids this when they was younger. They'd have been like, wow, is that really true? Yeah, it's really true, because they loved it, right? So you have the fraud in real estate, don't you? You sure do. That's what the devil is. Now, if it's in real estate development, Mr. Donald Trump, let's talk about it. Let me stand up again. Which foot you gonna put out now? Well, you got to put the right foot out. That don't mean nothing. Then you got a fool who got a left foot. He coming over to try to help Mr. Right Foot. You got to witness this garbage, right? But the devil is on both sides. So if the grandma's house that you went to is a red house, what happens if she's wearing the blue dress with a white collar? That means you tricked in the blue house, right? So if you ever meet somebody who take a finger like this and do this, like she putting it or he putting it in the pocket, you got a liar in the blue house. Because grandma's house is blue to the person who do that. It's over here on the left side. They like to understand the meaning of the left hand and the right hand, but you don't know the meanings to none of that. In another realm, you don't know that. That means you are lying, and you are partners with the red house who's doing it with you. That's why they go around doing this, tapping their pockets. Then you got women coming over and men coming over in the pocket with the thumb and taking the thumb and doing it on people's wallets like that. You playing on the yellow brick road with the wicked witch. You must be joking. You got to be stupid, boy. That's what you're playing with. Then you got to go to the temple that you planted this thing in, Mr. Government. You see fools walking around like they know it all. You see, because they in America, they used to the facial expressions. Looking like this. It's all a lie. He don't know what he's really doing anyway. So pay no attention to facial expressions. Because we've been trained to look like that to lie. Right? So the fraud is in real estate development. Because Trump is the real estate developer, ain't he? How did he become the president? Mrs. Hands. Who like to put the little hands out like that. It's all some type of lie. That's what it is. It's a lie. So the fraud is in real estate. Then you got an issue in America now with bipolar and schizophrenia illnesses, double personalities. Well, how you think it got that way? Half the times they are telling the bipolar person and the schizophrenia person to lie too. Because you have nothing but medication to get a person well. Especially when you play with God. Then you got those who talk about that they know degrees. Well, let me break it down to you. Let me say this first. So I met this lady one time on the outskirts, right? And she was mad at some girl. Let me break it down to you now. So she was doing the little hands like this, real mysteriously. Oh yeah, little hands like that, moving like that. Well, let me tell you what they did to the girl, Miss Glenda. They made the woman fake on the yellow brick road. Because if I mention these words to you, clever and clever, what do they mean? If I say that you clever and you tell me that you understand what I'm talking about, which clever are you talking about? But if I go over here and the guy tell me I can't do it for this person because they don't pay me for being clever, what's the difference between what he said and this person said? What's the difference? So how are you understanding the word clever if they didn't set you up to be fake? So Glenda and the fake church and the jackleg preacher and the police involved with him and Donald Trump and the government can get away. That's how they set it up. A bipolar and schizophrenia yellow brick road, man, where the wicked witch is crazy. But what happens if you set it up for the wicked witch to be crazy and bipolar and schizophrenia? I'm talking out of my head and I know I'm going to get water thrown on me. What happens if you really meet the devil and the wicked witch? Then you was tricked on the yellow brick road, huh? That means your whole book on bomb is a lie. That's how they got tricked. Then you got to go someplace down south, and you always talk about how you got to go down south, and you got to meet. I made a video on Brother and Sister Penny. You probably need to watch that video. Brother and Sister Penny's church members. The power of the penny. Flies. I want to see a fly. Well, it's no joke that you won't see one. Let us talk about that. Oh yeah, it's really true. You can see a whole lot of flies messing with pennies. You really can. But how do you get out of it? What happens if the fly man meets the devil? That's who they met. They met the black. If you meet the black, how you going to get back to the white? If you persecuting the temple of God by trying to make God's woman, God's man into a hotel business? Then you talk about how you know degrees. So I sat one down, right, and I did this to him. And this, to see if you know what the meaning of this is. Do you know that? If that's a 90-degree angle right there, right? And you sitting on 110 degrees, and I'm sitting here watching it because I'm doing this humanly. Because these are our human measurements. These have nothing to do with God, period. Because God's measurements about us, God's words about us, who we are is totally different from our human metric system. Especially when you're talking about that you know geometry. You must be joking. So then, I'm sitting here watching them sit. And I'm saying, I seen this. I seen a castle on 120 degrees. Now, if I take 120 degrees and I seen something on 120, I divide 120 by 2. If I divide 120 by 2, 6 into 2 into 12 is 6 times, right? So it's 60 over 120. Okay? Now keep in mind, the 60 over 120 is on the left side. Over here is the same number, 60 over 120, but you just flip it. You put the 120 on the top and the 60 on the bottom. That's the degrees. It's the same on each side. It's no such thing as a 55 and a 160 and a 120. It's none of that. That means all systems are stabilized, don't it? Well, that's what you say when you playing games. Now, it just so happens that I never seen him on 120. I seen him on 110. You know what I told them? I said, you sitting on 110 degrees, man. I'm sitting here looking at this, and I'm trying to get it, because we human, as close to the thing as I can. Nobody asked me to do this. Right? I said, I see you sitting, you and the cat. is sitting from, because you say that what's left got to come right. And I'm saying, do you really understand what you're saying when you're meaning that? Because you don't understand the left hand. First of all, in the spiritual realm, I ain't never saw no hands. Have you ever seen any hands in there? If you have, then you was badly mistaken, because what's spiritual like that don't even have physical features like we have. Dig this. So we're sitting on 110. I take 110 and I divide it by 2. I got 55. That's what I got. 110 over 55 is on the right side, because that's the top. Now you got to get to the denominator. How you get to the denominator, you divide it by 2. 2. You get 55 under the bottom. Now over here you got the same number, but you got to flip the 55. Flip it, because they always say the right is first. So flip it over here, because this is the opposite of this. Of the right hand is the opposite left hand. So it's 110 over 55 over here. I got to flip it, in which 55 becomes over 110 on the left side. Now keep in mind, I sit here and looked at this, 55 over 110. So if you gave somebody 66 years and you said that it happened on the 120, it didn't happen on the 120. It happened on the 110. So you got to subtract it to 66 by 11. You get 55. So you can't give them 66 years, because you're playing the courts too. You got to give them 55. So you got to take 11 years from the sentence that you gave them illegally in your court system, and you got to give them 55 years. Now somehow, I guess you got to get down to 0. That's what you was telling me years ago, and I didn't understand it, because I said, it sounds stupid to me, especially, it makes no sense to me that anybody that I know should even try to figure some garbage out like that, that's confusing the whole world, right? Okay, now dig this. So I looked at that number, 55 over 110. I'm on the left side looking at it. On the right side, the same number now. Okay? The same number. And we naturally do that. Oh, we naturally do it. It's a natural thing for a human being to do it. A lot of times, we don't know what we're doing with our hands, the signs, hand signs. We don't know what we're doing. We sit like this. Sometimes we'll sit like this, doing like this. And then we have idiots that come and try to explain to us what this means. And words change the meanings of things. They would change the meanings of it when we probably should seek the meaning. Now dig this right here. I'm looking at this number, 55 over 110. I'm saying, look like it. This is kind of looking familiar to me. That's just what I'm saying. I said, so I see 55 over 110. I said, look like I'm looking at an address. I said, if I'm looking at an address, I'm looking at 555 112, ain't I? Because I'm looking at another 5 and a 2 missing. If I go over here to the 110 over 55, I got to take the 25 from the left and flip it to be a 52 over here. I'm sorry, I got to take the 52 from the left side and flip it, and it becomes a 25 on the right side. I said, look like an address to me. That's what it looked like to me. Now, to my viewers, I'm not really truly explaining it a little bit clearly to you, so you have to excuse me, right? You know, I do appreciate your comments too. Look like I'm looking at an address. You are on the 110th degree, and I'm looking at 2 5s. 5 and 5. Then you have idiots who do this with the left hand, right hand. What does all this mean? Well, it don't mean anything if it's confusing you. If it's not done to you in peace and it's confusing you, you shouldn't learn it. You naturally have that anyway. You just don't know you have it. But we have people who know we have things like that, who are trying to explain to us, to give us a different meaning to it that benefits them, because it don't benefit us as human beings. Okay? I'm looking at an address. I'm saying this could be pretty dangerous, because if this is an address, right, I'm thinking I'm seeing it. So over here, I'm seeing the 110 over 55. I'm seeing 25 as the end number. Now, I'm trying to think in my mind now how I got to 25. Because I did get to 25. I just put a 25 there as an end number. I'm seeing 112 over 555. I go over to the left side and I flip the 25 into a 52. I got the same thing. I just got over here 555 over 110. It's still the same on every side. That's our metric system, and I guess that's geometry, right? Well, it don't look like that you ever got to 120. So what's 120? So what's the meaning to, let's go back to grandma's house. It's red and grandma's house is blue. You are looking at a real estate fraud. That's what you're looking at. This is real estate fraud. In other words, it goes back to what I was telling you. We are used to looking at people like this and looking at them for our mortgages. The fraud happened in real estate, man, because you was playing with the temple of God and trying to make a person into a hotel. The person was in the house and you was building a house. You can go in the house and they actually tearing down walls to a house. You don't see that on the TV set, buy it and flip it. It's all some lie. In other words, the person who got this photographic memory goes into a house because they might think about buying it. Now let me ask you a question. If you're in real estate fraud, why don't the person have a house now? Because you are still in real estate, young man. And let me break it down to the person I'm talking to now. They are trying to get your money out of your pocket in real estate. Now in Atlantic City, New Jersey, we had like a little real estate crisis going on in which some of the value of the properties went down. Let me break this down to you. Then we had a brand new casino raised up in Atlantic City called the Revel. Let me ask you a question. Thinking about what I just told you. Why is it called 10? Because he's a real estate developer too. Why did he change the name to 10? Ain't there some type of prophecy in that, y'all? But I'm a stupid man. Huh? He's a real estate developer. It's called 10, ain't it? That means it's real estate fraud. That's what it means. Now I know you hate to hear me say this, and excuse the appearance of this camera, right? Because I have a lot of brand new cameras, man, and I don't know why. That's just the way little spots sometimes. But why is the Revel called 10? Because it's real estate fraud. Why was this person ripped off by Trump Real Estate School in Philadelphia? If you went to a class, because you set up a fake class. And you also got a fake class where? In Delaware. In which you want people's social security numbers. Do you understand? And I'm not saying that some of these people that do this aren't truthful now. It's just that the ones that's truthful, man, about making money in real estate, man, you just got the wrong people. And sometimes the wrong people, right? The people that you think is wrong, like the ones how you judge people by how they wear their hats. I wear my hat like this. I could be a billionaire. You can't always go by appearances, man. You can't always judge me because I'm walking down the street like that. Huh? Sometimes that'll fool a person, boy. But it's usually sometimes the one with the nice suit and tie that rips you off. That means they trying to take your money out your pocket in real estate. Why is the Revel called 10? Because it's some type of biblical prophecy in there, ain't it? I ain't going to say biblical. It's some type of prophecy in there, ain't it? That means you took the taxpayers' money to build up a lie. That's all that means. It just takes a real leader to see that. And the type of things I'm talking about, I didn't actually even know this, man. I'm trying to get away from it for real. And the more I get away from it, man, the more it comes. I'm saying, man, and I get very angry sometimes about this. And I'm saying, you must think people is stupid. Why are you messing with the person with real estate? If I'm in Atlantic City and I'm with a real estate developer, that's real estate too, right? Okay. And I say I'm interested in purchasing this house through seller financing. And you tell me and you give me a price that's far above the price that it's selling for, then you's a fraud too. That means that you are playing with the person who you tried to make into a hotel out of grandma's house is red. If grandma's house is red to the person and she's a red woman, then that's the house that she live in. So let me ask you a question. If she's a red woman, where was her origin at? Well, there had to be somebody white down in the lines, wasn't it? It sure was. That means you're playing with a red and white house. That's what you're playing with. That's why she's wearing the blue and white dress. Did you know that? It's right there in front of you. Then if you get back to the same person, now you got this person who you tried to make into a hotel. Let's say they had a kid, a family, a girlfriend or whatever. So you go back to your girlfriend. One day your girlfriend tell you she was hurt on the job. And she's hearing voices and she don't know what the voices is saying to her. So the person go outside, right, and thinks about what she said on how he can deal with it, right? It could just be some element that she went through on the job. Well, it's more than an element because you did it to the woman. If you did it to him, you did it to the woman. Let's talk about it. Hotel people, huh? Now, she might not know that everything that she needs is already right there with her. The black that you tried to make the woman into, come out, then you watch the basketball game, NBA greatest hit, and you see your favorite player, Larry Bird of the Boston Celtics, on the TV set for real, writing with his left hand. Are you telling me that Larry Bird is left-handed? You ain't telling me that. Are you telling me Larry Bird is right-handed? I see Larry Bird writing with his left hand. I'm sitting here looking at this. I'm saying this is not happening. I ain't really saying this, I'm really saying it. I said, you must be out of your mind. You don't even know this. So the person goes outside, he thinks about it. He meets somebody and that he know in the community or whatever. But she's looking at his mouth as he talks. Now, you know there's a big southern thing. Don't look at my mouth as I talk. Because if you look at my mouth as I talk, you're going to repeat everything I say out of my mouth. Huh? She's trying to repeat the words he say out of his mouth before he even say them. That's a hotel person. That means there's a real estate fraud going on. It could be church real estate being built by a lie. That means you'll have the same experiences in your city as the reverend running off with the money again because the devil's in the house. And if the devil is in the Masonic Lodge, then you told the password to the enemy. And you know the oath you made on that one. You're going to have to end your life. That's what you said in your oaths. Now, my daddy is C.M. Patterson in North Carolina. My daddy's deceased. I had no idea that my father was a traveling man. My father never wore nothing Masonic around me, never had no rings around me, never ever told he was a traveling man to this day. They believed in the South, man. Let me tell you, Mason, something, man, that you don't wear no Mason rings if you ain't a part of no lodge. This was years ago, though. You know how that is. Years ago. That means it ain't today. Never told me that. He never said, he always drove a Lincoln Continental though. But I used to check this man, I said, Dad, this man got a lot of money. Because a little kid, right, it ain't nothing for me to ask him for 25. Can I get 20? I may ask him for 25. Because $25 is a lot in the South. When I was $25, shit, I'm rich for a day. I asked him for $25 one time. He gave it to me, I was happy. He was driving a Lincoln Continental. But I noticed every time the year changed, he would update his car. I didn't know he was a Lincoln man. He never advertised it to me. You know what he told my mother? He said, nobody goes around wearing Mason rings who ain't a part of a lodge. He said because they take them. They ask him some things. If he can't answer it, they take the ring. It was no internet of no Masons activities being sold. This man died with his secrets. And I kind of said, man, maybe he really believed that. My mother told me this 15 or 20 years after he died, that he was a traveling man. I had no idea he was. I said, so if I wanted to be a part of a lodge, who would I want to tell me that? I can't trust you because you're telling me a lie. What color is his grandma's house? Can you tell me that? I just wanted to tell you that. This man died with his secrets. If I wanted to become a large member, I could have learned it from him. And why did he introduce me to it? So how are you seeing Patterson? You're not seeing Patterson. So I got a saying. Will a man rob God? Cause seeing Patterson, the meaning of that meant his middle name is Malachi. So if his middle name is Malachi, right, then will a man rob God? Yeah, you'll rob God. That's all they have ever did, is rob God. So I'm trying to give tithes and offerings, right? Oh, this person is trying to give tithes and offerings, right? But he's a hotel man. But to him, grandma's house is red. So he goes to grandma and get a prayer done. That means that you are in a real estate disaster. So dig this right here now. If grandma's house is red and you're talking about, excuse me, somewhere over the rainbow, right? And I get up and I'm with a real estate developer, but I say that I'm in a red house. I put my little right foot out. I'm going to say this before I close, right? I just signed your deal to the devil. Because I could come out the casino and point to a red car. Well, that's what they did. That means that you are trying to become one with something to condone your bullshit. That means you are a crook. So I'm saying to people today who's buying houses, do your homework and find out how a mortgage works, so you ain't got to deal with this, and who you put your money in. Because after the real estate market crashed, they were setting up these fake mortgage companies and took more of your money. That's why it happened. Because black is in the house now. And you know what that means. Black is not appointed by no Catholics, man. Because I wear a black hat and a black scarf and a black coat. That don't mean nothing. Especially if that wasn't the meaning in the beginning. You went to the temple of the person, who the temple, where you said God might be sitting in there because the person is not doing certain things. That's what the person told me. But we'll wait to see if he fall. What type of church group gonna say that if they don't want to see him fall, man? You understand that? So y'all got a lot to think about today. Be careful who you try to attack, because the little weakling that you think is a weak man might be a smart man. And if you take the books and the Bible away from him, sister and brother Penny, then are you going to meet some more knowledge that you don't understand? You understand that? How you try to frame people with the Bible. That's what I'm telling you is true. That means that somewhere over the rainbow, Dorothy, you got caught in the rainbow. Now you know what the rainbow is, don't you? The rainbow is the gay community. That's what you got caught in. And you know how you got caught in that? Because you was going out, and I mentioned this in my last video, trying to give people words to say to the gay community because you was prejudiced against the gay community. So Dorothy and Toto got caught over there on the right side. Playing right, playing left. When you know you don't know your left hand from your right hand. You got to be joking. So if it's real estate development, Donald Trump, and you are building up beautiful buildings in Washington, D.C., then how you building them? Because King Solomon liked the same thing, didn't he? He sure did. And King Solomon loved women, didn't he? King Solomon loved women, but he didn't want the women that God gave him, did he? I'm just going to put that out there for you. Now, when the person went to Trump real estate school, guess what they told the person? We're not going to give you the money back because Trump has to reimburse these people. We're going to donate your money to our charity. That's what I mean by grandma's house is red. You can expect for them to say that they're going to steal the money because black, not white, is in the house. It's red and black or blue and black. But the blue and the red don't control the black. That's the black. That's what it means, man. And black is wicked, boy. You got to really, I can't tell you how you can overcome that right now. I probably should frame my audience. and tell my audience I ain't gonna. Well, if you send me $39.95, I'll tell you how you can do it. I probably should do that to y'all, shouldn't I? I'm gonna think about doing it. I'm just joking with you. I probably should do that though, cause I really believe I should be getting paid. Oh, I should be doing it, boy. There's a whole lot more to this, man. I'm gonna say y'all be encouraged. God bless you, and I hope that you got something out of these videos, right? In other words, if you think about what I'm telling you, it will ease some of the tension in your life. Because a lot of your bipolar and schizophrenic illnesses, you can get rid of. And Napoleon Hill had a saying, knowledge is power. Knowledge is not power. It's power if it's used. God bless you. Meditate. I'll be making more of these, and I appreciate your comments. Have a great day.